Captain's Log, March 6th, 2025. Hello, I'm Captain Vile. Good on you, you've made it to Friday. My week. Somewhat of a roller coaster, I'd say. Ups and downs. You know how I write things down so I don't forget them? I didn't write some stuff down this time. I do remember writing something down, so do allow me to open that up. Yes, that's alright. That's in relation to Media Minute. Specifically one of the movies I watched this week. So I'll get into that. Media Minute. So, for my father's pick this week was House, or I think it can also be said House Sue. I may have completely butchered the pronunciation, so I do apologize if I did. But it's a Japanese 1997 horror film. I've seen the box art for this movie, but I've never seen the movie. This is the first time watching it. I never knew what it was. It just looked like a weird, dog. But I know it's famous, and now I can see why. So I gave it 5 stars and a heart. So I'm always hesitant to say heart or like. Or I'm better. I'll get into the movie in a second, but I want to go into this talking point. I'm always hesitant to say heart. I'd much rather say like, even though they're kind of the same. But it's, I don't know, heart is more, I suppose more passionate. I'm always someone who's not that committed in giving praise. I don't really know why. But I'll always say alright instead of yes when they are both like a confirmation, but alright is like, I don't know, you got like a back door, as it were. Not really, because you've still agreed, but it's not as committal as just flat out yes. But maybe I gotta work on that, so I'll say heart, because the next movie I also gave a heart. I watched 2 this week. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. So I said 5 stars and a heart, and said, this movie is insane. The story, the characters all being archetypes, the deaths, the goddamn editing, it's insane. You'll have girls fighting for their lives against living appliances, then Kung Fu's theme song comes on, then she fights back flawlessly, and then it cuts to a jackass driving around while someone uses the saxophone to its fullest potential. It would be uninspired to say that everyone involved in making this was on drugs. Everyone involved in making this simply knew exactly what they wanted to make, and it shows in every scene. This is it's a feast for the senses. Bar, smell, and touch. Unless you are like holding your chin while watching this going, yes, I see. But everything else, it's a feast. As I said earlier, the editing, they loved their fade-ins, fade-outs, the colors, so many of the backgrounds in the first half. It's like 2 movies, and then it's a comedy, and then it turns into a horror comedy. When it's a comedy, they really like to utilize these painted backgrounds instead of using the actual sky. But they won't hide that fact. Like, clearly you could, know it's painted, you can see it. But there's a scene where they're waiting for the bus. And it, the bus stop is, has a mural on it that they made you think was a sky. And then it zooms out, and then it's a tiny sky in front of another sky that's also painted. So they got 2 paintings in one scene, or shot. And they do this several times. It's such an intriguing choice that I really like. I mean, I do like when movies use, I guess it's practical effects, but I hesitate to call it. It's like in Star Wars. Some scenes are paintings. It's like that. I guess I just like when movies use paintings or models. Because I thought Fitzcarraldo used a model. That was last week. I thought that the scene where it goes through the rapids was a model, and they like made a tiny river and a tiny boat and like really zoomed in on it, but apparently that's a real boat. Oh, I wasn't able to watch Burden of Dreams again. I was too busy. Sorry. So that's calling attention to it. But back to House. It's I don't know how else to say. It's good. It's funny. It's very interesting. Again, like, all the characters are archetypes. There's the smart one, the one that likes to eat. There's Kung Fu, who has a theme song that comes on when she fights ghosts. There's the fantasy one, there's the music one, and there's the pretty one. And it's... they don't get stale. You'd think they'd get boring, but, like, I don't know. It's quite nice. I enjoyed it. The music was good. I don't think I mentioned the music. I did mention the saxophone to its fullest potential during, you know, like, when it, like, back at the barnyard with Mr. Togo. Like, the meanwhile scenes, where he just cuts to him meandering around. And then cuts back to them in hell. But it's quite nice. And for during the comedy scenes, her grandmother, I guess it's a spoiler, but she, like, picks the most paranoid one and just starts messing with him. And then disappears from the movie. Then it just goes full on, like, haunted house, instead of, like, there's a witch. Because I guess, I don't want to spoil too much on how it works, but that's, I guess, how it works. But I don't do this as, like, a recommendation. But I would absolutely recommend this movie. It's very good. It's fun. It does take itself seriously at times, but overall, it's a ball. It's a weird ball, but it's fun. Now the other one. The other movie I watched of my own volition, just because it's out, and I gotta watch more than one movie a week. I try and watch one movie, or I do watch one movie a week, but I gotta start watching more. And another thing I gotta do, is I gotta watch more... this was another talking point. I didn't mention it. So, if you want an explanation, or if you want if you've not seen House, and you want some insight into what to expect, other than just what I said, this is an absurd thing to reference, but there is a Key and Peele comedy sketch. If you don't know what Key and Peele is, you might have seen a clip where some substitute teacher goes, Aaron. That's Key and Peele. It's a sketch show. Anyway, they've got a sketch where it's like the making of Gremlins 2, where this, like, flamboyant sequel doctor comes in, and everyone in the room gets to make a gremlin. And it's like, ooh, we should have a vegetable gremlin. We should have a smart gremlin. We should have an electricity gremlin. And that feels like what was happening here. We should have a musical number. We should have... I'm not going to say anything more than that, because it's a surprise each time. But it feels like they went around the room and was like, what do you want in the movie? And all of that is in the actual movie. That's the punchline of the sketch. Anywho. A bit of a jumbled intro. I know. But I gotta watch more bad movies. And I'm going to. I'm gonna watch... I hear The Bride is not good. I not only have to watch more bad movies, I have to watch more new movies. I have a habit of watching old movies and enjoying old things. If you'll look at my, back here, the last, not that old movie I watched was Burn After Reading, and then before that, it was In the Earth, which was a bad movie. So I've got some newer and bad movies under my belt, but I don't have a new bad movie. I've just got two separate things. I gotta get a new bad movie, and I hear that The Bride, I've not looked into it very much, but this Bride movie is not great. So I will watch that and see if it is not great. And maybe I'll like it. Who knows? But I've just heard through the grapevine. Now, Now to the other movie after 10 minutes. So good luck, have fun, don't die. I gave that 3.5 stars and a heart, and said, fun film with great visuals. I like the flashbacks and overall idea. The message can be somewhat on the nose, especially with the mob of phone zombies. I thought the new child and VR were done much better. The film starts great and gets weaker as it goes on, but I'd hesitate to say it gets outright bad. So that's a new... Like, that's this month, I think it came out. Or last month. Anyway, it's new. And I enjoyed it. It's about a time traveler who goes back to the past to prevent AI from ruining the world, and does that by preventing it from being sentient. So he gets random people and just travels to the origin of it. Anywho. I thought it was quite nice. As I said earlier, it's... I enjoy when movies do, like, separate characters sequences. Like, in Weapons, they did, like... It was split in, I think, 4 parts? Where they did, ooh, it's the teacher, ooh, it's the dad, ooh, it's the cop, ooh, it's the homeless guy, and then it's the family. So I guess it was basically 5 parts, looking back. But they do that in here somewhat. They have the main plot, and then they'll do a flashback to explain... they do 4 flashbacks, and they explain some of the people that the time traveler brought with him. And, like, why they agreed to go on his suicide mission. I thought that was fun, but yes, it does get weaker. I would say it's best in the... the first 45 minutes, I think, are quite good. I mean, the only bad part of the first opening part... I said part too many times. Anywho, is the teacher one, the phone zombies. I think that's a bit on the nose. It was nifty, because, oh, they got little, like, ray guns and stuff, which is, I guess, a minor spoiler, sorry. But it's... I'm talking about the movie, I do have to reveal some stuff. They get little ray guns, I think that was nifty. But yeah, it's just phone zombies. It's just, oh, it's one of those, like, Facebook cartoons is in the movie. Where it's, I don't know, you probably know the ones. Anywho, it gets better from there, and I did enjoy it. It's just, it could have been better, but it was fun. But it could have been better. I think it was very close to being great, but it meanders and is just good. Anywho, I've not read any more of the Meg. Even then, it's like, that was last show. I talked about the Meg. It's gonna be next show. Ooh, Friday the 13th. Look at that. When was the last Friday the 13th? That was February, too. Next month, no, the 10th. The 15th. I gotta stop doing this. I do this every time. I do this every time Friday the 13th comes up. I open up the calendar and look and say, ooh, is it Friday the 13th coming up? How many Friday the 13ths do we have coming? I gotta stop doing that. Or at least I gotta stop derailing the show to do that. But as for my week... So, I said it was a mixed bag. And that was because I had some fun anecdotes and some goddamn annoying anecdotes. I will begin with the annoying one. So, I work decently far away from my house. Not far enough away that I cannot walk, but certainly far enough that I would prefer not to if the option is available. And, wouldn't you know it, the option is available. The bus. I can take the bus to work. And back. I do not take the bus to work because I find them very unreliable. So I walk to work, and then I work, and then I take the bus home. Or at least near enough to my home, and then walk the rest of the way. But I'd rather be home later than I want than at work later than I want, because, again, the buses are unreliable. And that really came through here, So, to explain this, if I exit work, if I take a right turn, there's a bus station. And if I take a left turn, there's another bus, well, not station, stop. So there's 2 bus stops. Now, I would normally walk to the left because I need to go to the left. My house is, like, at my starting point left of where I work. So I'll go there and whatnot. But I realized it's actually further away because I have to, I stop working at the top of the hour, and the bus gets there at, 08, and then 012. Not 012, just 12. So I have to, get out of my uniform and then run to the bus stop. But I realized I wouldn't have to run to the bus stop if I went to the bus stop on the right. I'll just say one on the right. I'll just do A, B. A is the one on the left, B is the one on the right. So I can stop saying that. So I've started going to B. Because it is closer. But when I got to B, the bus stop B, yesterday, the bus wasn't there. I looked at the schedule, the paper schedule, and it said 9 o'clock at 06 and 08, there is scheduled to be a bus into town. And I looked at the digital clock thing they have that tells you when the next bus is, and not just when all the buses are. And it said the next bus was in 35 minutes, which did not line up with the paper schedule, so I waited for a few minutes. I waited until 09. No, it was 05, and then 07, I think. Yeah, it was like that. Anyway, there were 2 buses quickly after another. I waited 3 minutes passed, and the bus never came. So I figured, well, I might try and go to bus station A. So I begin walking over, and then I see the bus pulling up. And there is a bus due at station A. There's a turn, or a road between the bus stations that the bus must have come through, that it didn't go to B, but did, whatever, it skipped B. So I'm in, I think I'm maybe 100 feet away from the bus stop. So I begin, full sprinting to the bus stop, and the bus driver clearly sees me because he stopped at the bus stop. The bus is now stationary. And I am 50 feet away from the bus stop now. I am then, a few feet from the bus stop, to the point where I am able to make physical contact with the back of the bus. I know this because I slapped the damn thing. Why did I slap it? Because the bus driver started driving again. I will not regale you with the storm of expletives I shouted at the departing bus, but I do wish I had slapped the back of the bus harder to, because he knew I was there. I wasn't, just sprinting at the bus. I was, also, I had my right hand raised, going up and down, hey, I'm here, I want to ride the bus, please. And he'd, I don't know. Just annoying. And it's... Why stop? Why stop? It's is it a joke? Because it didn't say sorry, not in service. There's not just it's because you slapped the bus captain. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to harm the bus. My frantic, hey, I need to get your attention, don't leave. Because I got his attention. It's just an asshole. Sorry for whatever, but no, he stopped the bus. He stopped the bus, waited until I was in within range, because I stopped running when it bus stopped, because the bus stopped. He's gonna wait for me, and I'm not 50 feet away. Again, I was close enough to touch the bus. I was catching my breath, walking up to the door, and then he drives off. Okay. So then I walked home. Luckily it didn't rain, but it's just... It wasn't a fun evening, especially since I was tired from work. I don't like to walk home after work because I'll be tired as hell. I'm fine walking to work because I got the energy and whatnot, but wasn't a fun walk home, let me tell ya. Anywho, the fun part of my week was filming a short film for school. Specifically because it involves... So, I'm in charge of props for this, and we're doing an adaptation of The Three Little Pigs where the wolf hunts the pigs for sport, or something, I don't know. The brass tacks, the wolf has a shotgun. So we need a shotgun. So I'm in charge of getting it. I order it, it comes, I don't know, I got it with my other props. However, I ordered it like a while ago, so it's been sitting in my room for a decent bit. And, wouldn't you know it, it takes up a little bit of space, because it's like 84 inches. It's just long. But anywho, the box took up a lot of space that it came in, so I threw the box out. The basic, just like Amazon huge thing it came in. Which, kind of kicking myself for doing now, because when I realized we were shooting, and I'd have to bring the shotgun to, like, school, and then to pick up the camera, and then to the location we were shooting in, I gotta carry the shotgun. The toy shotgun, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned that, it's a toy. It doesn't shoot anything. The most damage you could do with it is if you hit someone with it, and even then I'm pretty sure it would break. But it looks realistic from a distance. Which is the problem. Because if someone is like, there's a maniac over there brandishing a shotgun, and the police have like a clear line of sight to me, but are not close enough to see it's a toy, and we'll get into this later, but even when they were like very close, they didn't know it was a toy. They're probably not going to wait and ask questions. They're probably going to either shoot or tase me. So I gotta figure out a way to move this damn thing and not get arrested or killed. And I've come up with an ingenious solution. Cereal boxes. So, I go through a decent bit of cereal. I would say 1 box every 1.5 weeks. And for some reason, the recycling's been, like, piling up. They're not taking it. It might be a way we've packed it. Either way, I got a lot of cereal boxes. So, the recycling is, like, piled up on top of the recycling bin. So there's just, like, a Jenga tower of boxes. So I go to there and get my cereal boxes. And I get 3 of them. And then I, like, duct tape them together, but open. And then I put the shotgun inside of those. And then, like, duct tape it all together. So it's just 3 cereal boxes stacked on top of one another. And I can carry that around and have it not be completely suspicious, but it is still pretty suspicious. So a way I've gotten around it being completely suspicious, or more suspicious, is I recently got a gift wrapping set. So I got a tag, and I wrote "Happy Birthday" with a smiley face, really big, because it's a huge tag that you can see from a while away. And I, like, stuck it on the top of the box. So it doesn't look like I'm trying to conceal something, or it looks like I'm trying to conceal something, but now you know why. It just looks like I've done a terrible job. It doesn't look like a shoddy, like, I don't know, box. It looks like a shoddy wrapping gift. So it's basically that scene in either Terminator 1 or 2. It doesn't look anything like that. It's not like a white box of a ribbon. No, it's 3 cereal boxes with a tag on it. But I only got weird looks from afar, and then, because I specifically held it in a way that I was like, the tag was always visible if you were, like, walking towards me. Anyway, so you could see the tag, and you're like, oh, it's just a shitty birthday gift, I see. Yeah, what a weirdo. and not what is in that box. And maybe someone's gonna stop me and go, what's in that? And maybe the cop won't stop me, and then I'd be in a whole heap of trouble. Because why are you trying to conceal this, buddy? But so we have to we get to the film, and we begin filming. And wouldn't you know it, I've not been briefed on the location, but it's a public park, which happened to have a forested area. But there was a walking path in the forested area. So, during the filming, we get the cops called on us. I couldn't tell you why. But anyway, they come over and they're like, "Hi, so what are you guys doing here?" And I was in charge of the camera, so I was holding the camera, and I made sure as they were walking over to like lift it up high so they could see. Oh, they're like, these guys are just like filming something, obviously. But what's the story with that there? So I told the officer, and I'm kicking myself for not like I maybe discreetly. Because I was holding the camera. I wasn't gonna like point it in the officer's face, but the camera has a microphone on it, so I could like record the audio and keep it. Because it was like nothing particularly funny, but I thought it was interesting. I don't know. I'm rather tempted to get like I can go to the police station and request body cam footage. I don't even know if I could do anything with that. Not like legally. Like you can legally. There are whole YouTube channels where they just upload body cam footage where it's like wacky because they're dealing with a crazy person, but more so just there's not very much interesting other than it's me on the film. But I explained to the officer, it's a toy, it's plastic, it does not shoot anything, it's not even like a BB gun, it just is a piece of plastic with it's the specific kind of rifle. It's meant to be Elmer Fudd. So you snap it, and you can like put or insert two little plastic bullets. But that again do not shoot. It just is those. But the officer went over, and he like messed with it. I was like, wow, this is well made for a toy. And then he like gave it back and went on his way. But he asked for like my information because it was mine. Like he asked whose it was and what we were doing, and I meekly was like, it's mine. And he asked for my name and phone number or contact information. I've not received any phone call from the police, but should I, I'll know. Oh, we did get asked by pedestrians. Only one lady. So just stopped twice. We really should have made a sign that said, like, we're filming something, it's a toy, don't worry. But, oh well, that's for next time. I didn't pick the location. I didn't know it was a public place. I thought this was, like, deep in the forest. Because I knew the scene took place in a forest, I just didn't know where we were going. But I probably would have recommended making signs had I known that now. Or known that then. But hey, that's the thrill of filmmaking, is getting stopped by the police. If you are not intervened by the law, then you must not be making that interesting of a movie. But yeah, no, I'm very tempted to do that. I don't know. I know you can do that in America. You can, like, they legally cannot not give you body cam footage if you request it. But I don't know if they can do that in the UK. I don't even know the name of the... I wasn't like, oh, what's your badge number, sir? But I did, like, I'm not gonna lie, I did, like, position myself so that I was front and center in his body cam, and I looked into it to make sure I was. I mean, hey, it would probably... If there was an event, that would, like, make the catalogers happy. It's like, oh, he clearly, he is a film student. He's following the, like, rule of thirds. He's given himself plenty of headroom. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Now, yes, he did
cause a woman to have a heart attack. But if you'll peel your peepers over to the screen here, notice the artistic genius in how he has positioned himself in the body cam footage. Now this creative mind cannot be thrown away. And I'll be acquitted of all. Alright, I do believe that's everything. Yeah. Oh, I mentioned this in video. Dark Souls 2 or whatever. I was in charge of props, and I was in charge of snacks for the actors. So I went to Aldi, and I bought, like, a huge, like, you know those, like, combo bags? Where it's like, ooh, you got the Cheetos, and you got the Doritos, and you got the, Lay's that is left at the bottom of the bag because no one wants those. It's always the Doritos. My brother would always, like, he'd grab all the damn Doritos from those combo bags, and he'd put them in his damn, like, room, in our room. But he'd put them in his side of the room, and he'd leave me with, like, the stupid, like, Cool Ranch Doritos. I don't want those dumb things. They taste awful. I certainly don't want the Lay's. But anyway, I got one of those, and I got these, like, pastry things. And no one had any. It was a long day of shooting. It was like 9 hours. And no one had anything. There wasn't a lunch break. There wasn't anything. I didn't hide them. I made it known multiple times. Hey guys, I have snacks if you want any. So now I've just got a bunch of snacks. Whatever will I do with them? Oh well. That is everything now. That's certainly everything my throat's willing to give. I gotta get some water. Anywho. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Stay tuned to Gotham FM.